When politicians insult Muslims, whether abroad or our fellow citizens, when a mosque is vandalized or a kid is called names, that doesn't make us safer. That's not telling it like it is. It's just wrong. It diminishes us in the eyes of the world. It makes it harder to achieve our goals. It betrays who we are as a country.
Well, that sure sounds like a swipe at Donald Trump, and Donald Trump himself, who is leading the pack nationally amongst the Republicans, joins us right now from Florida on the phone. Donald Trump, it sounds like the President of the United States does not like you.
I would say that's probably true. He probably does not. Not very important to me, but I would say he probably doesn't.
What's your reaction to his veiled threat or the veiled shot he took at you?
Well, he doesn't mention the radical Islamic terrorism. He doesn't want to use those terms. He doesn't want to talk about it. And if you don't talk about something, you're never going to solve the problem. He doesn't want to talk about California, what happened there with the 14 people killed, viciously killed by the two radicalized people. He doesn't want to talk about what's going on in the world, the real facts that are going on in the world. He's living in a fantasy land. I think this man is living in a fantasy land. So, he mentioned that. Again, he didn't mention my name, and perhaps he was talking about somebody else, but some people think he might have been talking about me.
Sure sounded like it.
And we want to make sure we're leading from a position of strength rather than a position of weakness. And breaking just as we went to air this morning, the 10 Navy sailors that had been held in Iran have been set free, essentially, and they're heading home. There's a BBC report out this morning, Mr. Trump, that says we apologize to Iran because of a territorial waters violation when their navigation system malfunctioned. If that's the case, should we have apologized?
No, we shouldn't have apologized, and they shouldn't have held these people at any point. And, it's just days before we're giving them hundreds of billions of dollars in one of the dumbest deals in the history of our country. I think it's a disgrace. And they probably said, we better let him go, this dumb guy that's leading the pack and the whole group of people. I mean, John Kerry, one of the worst negotiations I've ever seen. And they're getting hundreds of billions of dollars. And they probably said, let's let these guys go. We'll keep them the next time. Normally you would have said, let's help them out and let's get their, whatever it is, navigation equipment fixed up and get them out of here. They held them, and they only let them go because they want to collect the money, because they're not stupid people. That's for sure. They're certainly not stupid, especially compared to what we have negotiating. So it's very, very sad that they held them at all. They shouldn't have. What they're doing essentially is they're taunting us. And they continue to taunt us. They also had some missiles go off right next to one of our ships the other day. And, they continue to taunt us because they feel we don't have very much leadership, which, of course, they're 100% correct about that.
And this is before we wrote the $100 billion check. Can you imagine after they cash it, we'll lose all our leverage? But they said that the president did say, I avoided a war by cutting this deal.
Well, let me just tell you, if they had the money, if the money was already there, they would have kept these people. They would have kept them. Hey, they already have our 4 hostages over there right now, including a minister, a wonderful guy from all accounts who's a pastor, and he's there because he's a Christian. But they already have 4 people, but it should have been gone as part of the deal before the deal even started. You wouldn't have even started the deal until they were left.
Mr. Trump,
it's just inconceivable what they're doing.
You would not have even known that we had this crisis going on yesterday because the President of the United States did not mention these Iranian hostages, just sprung this morning, at the State of the Union. Nikki Haley was given the tasked by the establishment Republicans to give the response to the president. She, it sounded like, took a swipe at you last night. She said, during anxious times, it can be tempting to follow the siren call of the angriest voices. We must resist that temptation. Was she taking a shot at you? Here's what she just said on another channel.
He was one of them, yes. He was one. There's other people in the media. There's people in my state. I think we're seeing it across the country. But, yes, Mr. Trump has definitely contributed to what I think is just irresponsible talk.
How do you respond to that?
Well, I respond a couple of ways. Number one, she's very weak on illegal immigration, and, I've known that for a long time, but she's weak on illegal immigration, and she certainly has no trouble asking me for campaign contributions, because over the years she's asked me for a hell of a lot of money in campaign contributions. So, it's sort of interesting to hear her. So, perhaps if I weren't running, she'd be in my office asking me for money. But now that I'm running, she wants to take a weak side on immigration. I feel very strongly about illegal immigration. She doesn't. And I think the people in her great state, I love her state. I'm there a lot. And by the way, I have a massive lead in South Carolina. We have a massive lead, and they're incredible people. Yeah. And they feel like I do, believe me.
Yeah,
they feel because they don't like what's happening in our country.
And Mr. Trump, you'll be there tomorrow for the FBN debate in Charleston. But there has been some buzz about South Carolina's Governor Nikki Haley being a potential VP running mate for whoever wins the nod, and that she's a rising star in the party. That's why they picked her to give the rebuttal last night. I'm guessing your answer to this question is going to be no, but would you pick her as a VP running mate?
Well, considering I'm leading in the polls by a lot, I wouldn't say she's off to a good start based on what she has just said. So, let's see what happens. We'll pick somebody, but we'll pick somebody who's very good. But whoever I pick is also going to be very strong on illegal immigration. We've had it. We've had it with illegal immigration, believe me, this country, and a lot of other things, especially when you look at what's going on and the Iran deal and all of the money that goes out, and we get nothing for it. So we've had it with a lot of things in this country.
Well, she has been strong on bringing down jobless numbers, bringing back tens of thousands of jobs to South Carolina, and education reform, and a number of accomplishments. But you say she's weak on illegal immigration. Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, go campaign.